Hello, it's Allie with the Perception Trainers, author of the Perception Diet, and today we have part 3 and pillar 2 of our Becoming a Powerful Co-Creator series. So if you have not watched the first 2 videos, please go do that first, okay? So there's the intro and there's the receptivity. So in our last video, we talked about receptivity, and we talked about receptivity essentially being you being willing to accept new information and to not make that new information mean you were wrong before. And especially allowing yourself to accept information in the areas of your life where things are not going how you want them to go. Where there's pain, where there's struggle, where there's suffering, where it's not how you want it to be, right? With the self-sabotaging behaviors, the not being able to manifest what you want, and all the things that you're experiencing in your life that are hurting you, that's where you need to learn the most. And so we talked about how when you become receptive to these areas, so meaning when you stop blaming the self-sabotaging behavior or the anxiety or the emotion or the thoughts or the experience as being the problem, and you start to see, no, this is the symptom of the problem. The problem is I'm out of alignment with reality. I don't know how reality works. I am breaking myself against reality. And that is what needs to change here, not the symptom. The symptom is what's pointing me to where I'm not learning, to where I'm refusing information, to where I'm in a death cycle. Thank you, symptom. Because if that didn't happen, you'd die and you wouldn't know why. You thank the symptom, you embrace the symptom, you make room for the symptom, you hold it like it's the most important thing to you in the whole world so that it can tell you what's really going on. This is the thing. This is why I say we don't get rid of self-sabotaging behaviors. We learn why we are self-sabotaging by embracing the self-sabotaging behavior and then letting the self-sabotaging behavior point to you to where you are believing something that is false about the reality. So the more you spend time with your stuff, right, in your emotional mastery series, in your meditation, being with these negative emotions, being with the self-sabotaging behavior and saying, okay, I make room for you, I love you, I accept you. Why do I need you? What are you providing me with? What am I believing that's not true, that's painful, that's hurting? Yes, this is the beginning of living a creative life. Because the more receptive you are to new information, the more likely you are to change and grow and become different. And that is a creative life. Living a powerfully creative life means you're constantly growing and expanding. You're constantly changing who and what you are and what you offer. That's what a creative life is, a powerful creative life. Otherwise, we're on a death cycle. Literally, if we're not creating, if we're not growing, if we're not becoming new, if we're not changing, we're going backwards. So we talked about that in the last video. If we're looking for the heaven, if we're looking for the after, if we're looking for the perfect, we're living in a fantasy world. And not only that, we are unknowingly and probably blindly killing ourselves because we're looking for something that is death. That's what death is. All of these things that are promised to you as heaven is really death in disguise. So we don't want that. We want perpetual change, perpetual growth. That journey never ends. When you get on board with that, everything will become more fulfilling for you. Okay, so that was phase 1. Phase 2 is conductivity. Okay, now conductivity is probably my favorite of all of this because when you live a conductive lifestyle, okay, this is where all the like hippie, new age, spiritual, high vibration, blah, 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 that's all been turned into just complete bullshit, actually has some merit, okay? So this is why I want to say, you know what? Living a conductive lifestyle, living in a conducting body, living in a conductive being, you will experience all that, what is now mostly like ruined by the new age community, third eye opening, high vibration in your being, literally experiencing completely different life experiences that are of much more joy and fulfillment and completion than you were experiencing before. All of this stuff that sounds really magical and really esoteric, and like I say, kind of has gotten ruined by the new age community that doesn't know what they're talking about. It's true. It's not 100% false. It's actually very true. It's just the New Age community doesn't know how you get there. That tends to be where I see the pitfall, right? Is that being a conductive person means, yeah, like literally, you're going to feel bliss in your body like you've never felt before. You're going to have constant ideas and constant inspiration and constant creativity just like pouring through your being. And this is what we all deserve as human beings. We all deserve to live in this place where we feel like the life force energy, the love, the information, the mathematics, whatever you want to call it, of the universe is just constantly flowing through your vessel and encouraging you to become more than you've ever been. More ideas, greater ideas, better expansion, all of these. This is what is going to happen when you become a conductive human being. So the first phase of becoming conductive is allowing yourself to become receptive. Yeah? That new information doesn't mean I was wrong and bad before. Now, being a conductive person, what does that mean? A conductive person takes the new information and applies it to their real life. So this is again where we start to say, I don't really give a shit about your vision board. I don't care about your inspiration board. I don't care about your creativity corner. That stuff doesn't matter. Are you looking at where in your life things aren't working? Are you allowing yourself to take in more information about why those things aren't working? And are you allowing yourself to take the scary, most likely, scary step of changing your own behavior, changing the way you think, changing the way you perceive about the world and then how you act in it to align with your new understanding? That's what being a conductive person is. We can take in as much information as we want, but if we don't apply it, we are still in a death cycle. We are still blocking the flow. The completion of the flow is not just the taking in of the information. The completion is when we apply that information, meaning we understand what we were doing that was out of alignment with reality before and causing us pain. We were breaking ourselves against reality and breaking ourselves against ourselves, like who and what we truly are. And we change to come into alignment with who we truly are. So now this is where we start to understand that living a creative life, becoming creative in your vocation, having inspiration to build whatever it is, business you want to build, or artistic thing you want to do, or family you want to create, or whatever it is that you want to make in this world that actually matters to you, foundationally requires that you become yourself, that you express who and what you are within the context of how reality works more and more and more. Meaning, you take in more information about the reality. This isn't working. I thought it was going to work this way. It doesn't. Okay, good. That means I was wrong. Fantastic. What's right? How is it going to work? How does it really work? I thought I could jump off a cliff and fly. I can't. Oh, gravity. Okay, so there's gravity. Gravity doesn't mean I can't fly. Gravity means, right, because there are things that fly. So how can we work with gravity to create something that's individual to me? I want to fly. Not everyone wants to fly. I want to fly. I understand gravity is happening. How can I use my creativity, so my unique interest in flying and my universal understanding of gravity, right? Gravity affects everybody. Uniquely, I want to fly. How do I bring these two things together to create the airplane? You see what I'm saying? This is literally what conductivity is. The more you understand who you are, what you care about, what's interesting to you, what matters to you, what lights you up, and how that applies, right? How that ties in to what you're learning in your individual life about reality, because you're going to start to understand this. You're going to start to see this in a creative life. All of your blocks, all of your self-sabotaging behavior, all of your negative emotions, all of your self-sabotaging thoughts, blah, 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 are showing you the bits of reality that you need to understand, the bits of yourself that you need to understand to become the individual creator that you came here to be. You're going to learn. So like literally, right? My journey through anorexia, my journey through body dysmorphia, my journey through all the things that I've been through with my health led me to creating the perception trainers. They fit together. All the things I thought were what was wrong with me was actually my misunderstanding of reality. So the journey I needed to take to understand how reality actually works, first through contrast. So the contrast wasn't wrong. All the shit that I went through, anorexia, sickness, disease, all these things that I went through were not wrong. That was the contrast. That's how I learned how reality worked. And then, as I did that, I aligned myself with it. I changed my behaviors. Yes, I didn't learn new information about health and then be like, oh good, I know it. No. Oh good, I know it. Now I have to be different. I have to apply it over and over and over and over and over again. I learned something new about myself. Ooh, that's scary, right? Because the reason I haven't been being myself is because I've been rejected my whole life for myself. That's true. I lost love because of who I am. Now I have two choices. This is who I am. That's not going to change. This is how reality is. It's not going to change. If I want to be happy, I have to live in alignment with reality, mean change my behaviors to align with the new information. So this is what I'm saying. Receptivity is nothing on its own. You can go to all the seminars. You can do all the meditations. You can receive all the information you want. That's great. But it means frickin' nothing if you don't apply it. You have to change your life. You have to change your life based on your understandings. You have to change how you eat. You have to change how you think. You have to change how you react in your relationships. You have to change how you react in your work. You have to change all your limiting behaviors. And you will, one step at a time, as you learn something new. So this conductivity part, right? So the scary bit of receptivity is accepting and embracing all these things that you think are wrong with you and learning that those things are actually teaching you about the reality. They're teaching you about yourself, and they're teaching you what you need to know to become the most fulfilled creator in your specific life that you can become. The hard part about conductivity is applying the information that you learn, meaning you change your behavior. You stop expecting reality to change for you, and you start to change based on how reality works. You stop expecting your being to change. You're never going to become the person you're trying to become right now. You're never going to get rid of who you are fundamentally, that yes, has been rejected by everybody. That's not going anywhere. So you have two options. Reject reality, continue to reject reality and break yourself against it and be on a death cycle, or continue to reject yourself, continue to try to become a person that you're not, continue to try to change the things about you that everyone else didn't like, and also be on a death cycle. Or you can accept reality for how it is, you can accept yourself for how you are, go through this scary thing of changing your life and losing relationships and having people not understand you and having people not like you and having people reject you and having people project all their unconscious fears onto you. Because this is the thing. When you start to become a powerful creator, people aren't going to like you very much. Because we live in a world of victims. We want to be victims. We want to abdicate responsibility. We want the heaven, right? We want our boss to promise us our retirement. We want our religion to promise us our heaven. We want the diet industry to promise us our perfect body that never changes. We want our spiritual coaches to tell us about this land of enlightenment that we land in and then never have to learn or grow or change again. We want our relationship people to tell us about this perfect technique for creating this perfect relationship where you just are in love forever now. Because we're victims. We don't believe in our own creative capacity. We don't believe in our own capacity to continue to learn, grow, change, and expand. And because, again, we still have this whole big faulty, 180 misunderstanding that growth and change means we were wrong and bad. Where the truth is that growth and change means you're alive, means you're doing it right. That is the one and only sign of someone who's living, is growth and change. You're doing it wrong if you won't. Okay? Really, if we're going to put it that way. So conductivity is about admitting where you are acting out of alignment with yourself, admitting where you're acting out of alignment with reality, and changing. That's what it means to be conductive. You remove the blocks that you have set up to who you are and how reality works, because that's what it is. Some of those blocks you inherited, they're not yours, right? Sometimes we, as in you didn't create them necessarily, right? We all have physical things that we came into this life with. We all have family history of this is how your family perceived the reality and they pass that on to you. This is how your family perceived what makes a good and a bad person and they pass that on to you. And all of these things, you inherited these blocks. Now what are you going to do with it? Because to become conductive, you have to remove the blocks. Meaning you have to act on the new information. You have to let yourself be different. So like I say, people aren't going to like you. They're going to be afraid of you because you are going to be flying in the face of all their limiting beliefs. Like that's really the biggest part of this. Stepping into being a creator means you don't struggle with the things that other people struggle with. You don't have the same victim mentality. You don't have the same limiting beliefs. You don't have the same limiting behaviors. You don't have the same shit, drama that people have because you're living on a totally different plane. And they're not going to like that because it shows them where they don't have to be doing what they're doing either. And it's work. It's work to face your fears and be yourself in the face of getting rejected. It's work to say, okay, I know I want to eat this way, but it's not working. I learned something new. I have to change the way that I eat. I have to change the way that I run my business. I have to change the way that I act in my relationships. I have to change. I have to change. It's scary. And again, right, we step out of the drama that everyone else is in. We step out of the victim mentality that says, oh, I'm such a poor victim and everything's like it. And you start saying, no, this is my life. If it's hard, what am I going to do with it? Yeah? If I'm facing a struggle, great. That's contrast. That's teaching me something about the reality. I'm not going to hold the victim mentality that says bad things can happen to me. I'm going to let that go. I'm conductive, right? I'm conductive, meaning something is happening to me that's challenging. It's not bad. It's not wrong. It's exactly what I need to learn about the reality and to learn about myself so that I can become an even more powerful creator, because that's the point, okay? You're going to see all your blocks, all your challenges, everything that you've gone through, your anxiety, your depression, your eating disorder, your drinking, your health issues, your relationship issues, your debt, your overspending, your underspending, your fear of money, your fear of blah, 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 all of the things that you've gone through feed into what you're here to do, what's gonna fulfill you as a creator, someone who lives a creative life. It's all the same shit. You're attracting all of it. That's your point of attraction, is all that shit, because it's teaching you how reality works. And it only becomes blissful if you learn and change based on that learning. Okay? So to be conductive, you take in new information, you change based on that new information. You try things. And if that doesn't work, you try a different thing. And if that doesn't work, you try a different thing. You learn, you learn, you learn. You let go of. You are not a victim. Nothing is happening to you to fuck you over. Nothing. Everything in your reality is teaching you something. Every single thing in your reality is necessary for you to become the creator you want to become. You gotta learn from it. We cannot resist anything anymore. You have to play all the way to be a powerful creator, which is saying everything that is showing up is helping me. Every new thing that I learn is a thing I take responsibility for and apply to my life. It's not enough just to hear it. It's not enough just to know it. You have to do it. And yes, it's gonna be scary, like I said a million times. You're going to face all your childhood traumas and fears about being yourself and doing what you came here to do. And you're going to do it anyways because you're a conductor. You're a conductor. That is what being conductive is. And then literally, the more you do that, the more information you're going to get. Every time you remove a block, you level up. This is what expanding your consciousness is. You remove a block, you level up. It's so fucking practical. Every time you learn something new, you apply it, you become more conductive to more information, which will make you smarter. Literally. Okay? So questions, comments, concerns below. Answer your own, then I'll answer you, and we'll see you in the next video.